Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the From Brokenness to Fullness podcast. Today's episode is for the tired believer, the one who loves God but feels exhausted, the one who wants to obey but feels overwhelmed, the one who is faithful but feels stretched thin. Because somewhere along the way, obedience got confused with striving. Today's episode is called Obedience That Leads to Freedom, Not Burnout. And if you've ever felt like living for God is heavy instead of life giving, this episode is for you. Let's start here. Obedience becomes unhealthy when it turns into performance. When obedience sounds like, I have to do more, I can't mess up, God will be disappointed, I need to earn his approval. My friend, that's not obedience. That is pressure. Jesus never called us to perform for him. He called us to abide in him. You see, Matthew 11:28-30 says, Come to me, all who are weary and burdened. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. So, if obedience feels crushing, something is misaligned. Let's clarify something important. Burnout comes from striving for God. Freedom, on the other hand, comes from walking with God. Burnout is rooted in self-reliance, fear of failure, people-pleasing, comparison, and lack of boundaries. But biblical obedience, my friend, flows from love, trust, relationship, grace, and alignment. Obedience that leads to burnout is fueled by fear. But obedience that leads to freedom is fueled by love. Look at Jesus' life. All right? He obeyed the Father perfectly, yet he rested often. He withdrew to pray, said no to crowds, walked away from pressure, rested before major decisions, and he never rushed. Jesus was obedient, not exhausted. John 5:19 says, The Son can do nothing by himself. He does only what he sees the Father is doing. Jesus didn't do everything. He did the right things. So, let's do a little heart check. Are you ready? All right. You may be striving instead of obeying if you feel guilty resting, or you say yes when God said no, or you're constantly overwhelmed. You fear disappointing people. You measure worth by productivity. Moreover, you don't know how to stop. These aren't signs of faithfulness. They are signs of imbalance. God never asked you to sacrifice your health, your peace, or your family to obey Him. So, knowing all of these, what really obedience that leads to freedom looks like? First, you have peace even when life is busy. You have confidence in saying no. You have clear priorities. You have healthy boundaries. And you rest without guilt. You have joy in serving. And finally, you have alignment instead of overwhelm. Psalm 127:2 reminds us, in vain you rise early and stay up late, for He grants sleep to those He loves. Rest is not rebellion. Rest is obedience. So if you are burned out, here's how to reset. You guys, come back to relationship. Obedience flows from intimacy, not obligation. Second, ask God what He actually asked of you, not what others expect, not what culture demands. Third, release people pleasing. You can obey God or impress people, but you can't do both. Fourth, honor your limits. Limits are not weakness, they are wisdom. And lastly, obey in grace, not fear. God's love is not a risk, it is a gift. Receive that gift. There was a season when I thought obedience meant doing everything, like serving everyone, never resting, never stopping, or never slowing down. But God lovingly corrected me. He showed me that obedience without rest leads to burnout. not holiness. When I started obeying with God instead of for God, everything changed. I have peace, I have joy, and I have clarity. So I want to invite you to take a moment and ask yourself, where have I confused obedience with striving? What am I doing out of fear instead of faith? Where is God inviting me to rest? And what would obedience look like if it felt light again? My friend, God doesn't drive you, He leads you. So let me leave you with this. Obedience leads to burnout is not obedience at all. It is imbalance. God never called you to exhaustion. He called you to abundance. Remember, John 10:10 says, Jesus came to give us life to the full. In obedience, when done in love and alignment, will always lead you there. Next episode, we're moving into something powerful, sustaining a lifestyle of obedience. And you don't want to miss that. My friend, please share this episode to your loved ones and leave me a review or reach out to me on my social media if you have any questions or just to say hi. I want to get to know you. Also, if you may, check on the links on the show notes, or yeah, you can support us through shopping on our Etsy shop, or we have a lot of resources available for you to grow spiritually. So I'm looking forward to get to know you and to help you on this journey of becoming like Christ. Until next time, I love you and God bless. Bye for now.